What good listeners you are. Welcome to UCOG this morning. So glad to see you here. If it's your first time or your 101st time, you are always welcome. UCOG, as we know it, is a liberal community of people, kindred spirits. We welcome you no matter your color, who you love, how weird you are, whatever you are, come on in. We have several announcements, the first of which will be Mo Morrison.
Good morning, I'm Mo Morrison. Next weekend is National Wear Orange in support of victims of gun violence. Here at UCOV, the Social Justice Team 2.0 will be organizing a small event. We would like to invite and encourage all of you to participate. This is part of the national movement and our way to show support. Our objective is to show support of gun safety legislation, of a ban on assault weapons, and to support children and families who have been victims of gun violence in this country. Please join us next Sunday here at UCOV, Sunday service. There are 3 ways you can participate with us. The first is to wear orange. Any orange will do. If you have a t-shirt with writing on it, you can turn it inside out. You could wear an orange scarf, you could wear a hat, any of that. Wear it to Sunday service, Sunday, June 4th, a week from today. The second thing that you can do to participate is to make and bring a sign that you can hold up expressing your thoughts and feelings about gun violence in this country. And the third thing you can do to participate is to join us in standing on the corner of Edmondson and Pinebrook immediately following service for a short period of time, 15 or 20 minutes, to raise visibility of this important issue. For further questions or details about this, please see our UCOV Facebook group In Touch for a posting of the national movement. And any questions about our event here at UCOV, you may ask any of us after service today on the social justice team. We encourage all of you to join us. As Reverend Amy urged in their gondolier column yesterday, we must begin. We must take at least small steps and engage in an ethic of risk to stop the rhetoric of hatred and anger. Please stand with us as we tell the world from our corner what we believe. Thank you.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you all wearing orange lipstick. Visitors, if you haven't already, stop by the welcome table. Are there any visitors, by the way? Is this the first time? Yes. Congratulations. Do you want to stand and give us your name?
My wife Margie and I, we've lived down here for 3 years now. Driven past, because we live around the corner, driven past the church, I can't tell you how many times, and decided we needed to come by and see it. Reading what we've already read, looks like we're in the right place.
Good decision.
Thank you.
Good decision. Thank you.
We just been meaning to check it out. Thank you. I'm nervous. Okay, bye.
We'll do our best to impress you. If you will, did you fill out a visitor's card? Good, good. We have more announcements.
Anybody else new today that want to say something?
I think that was it. Yeah.
Okay.
More announcements. Games and lunch this Tuesday, the 30th, Bring a bag lunch and we'll play mahjong along with other games, which is good because I don't like mahjong, such as dominoes, cards, and Scrabble. So come along. And the next Green Sanctuary's Meatless Monday potluck will be June 5th at Waters Hall. All are invited to attend. We will gather at 5 o'clock for social time and dinner at 5:30. Bring an appetizer, main dish, side dish, or dessert to share. And don't forget to bring your setup, your beverage, your plate, your silverware, or whatever, if you're fond of silver. And join us for a zero-waste evening. Sign up on the lanai. Any questions, see Jean Sibbers or Donna Schaefer. And what about Donna? Other Donna. Okay. Pancake breakfast. Well, we're into July 16th. Sign up on the lanai if you plan to come. Crafting corner. Do you knit, crochet, cross-stitch, embroider, any other crafting projects? Let's start an eclectic sewing circle and have a crafting corner. John Van Camp, have you something to add?
Thank you and good morning. Well, I'm happy to report that your Social Justice Committee has been hard at work. As I mentioned in the last meeting, we used the issues of concern that was developed by Serena, and I think all of you have a copy. I encourage you to take a look at it. It lists, issues of concern that really challenge you values, and quite frankly, American values. So we've used that list to guide us. And while we're monitoring all of them, there's no way that we could really address all of them at the same time. So we started prioritizing our work around and focusing on education, freedom, and addressing the legislative actions that are based on homophobia, racism, and anti-Semitism that have put the Sarasota County in the epicenter of the culture war in our country. We've started to move into a subcommittee or interest group perspective, one of them being around education in the Sarasota County schools, another around media, press releases and letters to the editor, another around band book fairs or festivals and whether, and there could be other events that we are starting to work on. Kim McHugh and Pauline Adams have really created an awesome list of organizations that are addressing many of these same issues. The League of Women Voters, AAUW, the Support Our Schools, Friends of the Library, the Jewish Community, Venice Pride, and it goes on, and Embracing Our Differences, Planned Parenthood, it goes on. So we have a beginning identified list of organizations, and then as true UCOVers, members of that committee, and right now there are 34 people who are on that list and shown an interest in our work. And members of the committee have started to sign up and do reports about their engagement. And I've never been with a group. We met on Friday, and here's a list of 15 groups, and everyone 2 weeks ago was given an assignment. Everyone did their assignment, and everyone shared with the others. that's UCOV strong. Besides all of the, the events and things that we might do, I have to give credit again where credit's due. It was Kim McHugh who pointed out the power for observation that we might do beyond what we can do singularly, but do with what you do best, and that is convening. Think about the power of convening. Think about convening people of different races, sexual orientations, religious orientations, and political orientations. I'm looking at them. That's what UU does best. So look about these many other groups that we have identified, and we're looking for more that we can gather and start to percolate ideas together of what we may do together. So again, the power of convening, and there really is true power in convening. So if you're interested in joining us, If you have ideas of other organizations we should be working with, or if you have a contact, if you're a member of any of those organizations, please share it with us because we'll want to work together with them. During the summer, we're going to be moving to monthly meetings. They will be on Zoom. They will be convened here. Both Mo and Rich Carinelli have raised their hands and said they'll help convene here. But we plan to continue, at least on a monthly basis. But so much more of the work will be done in committees and whatever. So on a related matter, last Sunday, I decided to go to the Unitarian Church in North Charlotte, the fellowship there, because I knew that they were involved in social justice. Well, I went early and I stayed late, and during the introductions, I said I was there representing the social justice team here at UCOV, and I was there to learn what they're doing and to see what they wanted to partner with. Well, I have to tell you, after the church, more than 10 people came up to me with ideas of what they could do together on a social justice idea, on our choirs getting together, on having Amy come down. I mean, the ideas just started to percolate and whatever. One of the members reminded me that years ago there was a real grouping of the UU churches from Sarasota to here to North Coast and Fort Myers. And I think there's an effort now, given that we're in the midst of this culture war with all of these issues of concern, how can we address them together? And I think at GA there's an idea of getting some of those together and seeing what we can do. So, you know, for me, as a community organizer, moved here from Detroit a few years ago, I thought that I was retired. Well, but I learned how you use retired. We're not retired, we're rewired. We take the same values. we take the same passion that was in our work and whatever we did, and we put it into the outlet of addressing social justice issues and these issues of concern. And so it's a pleasure to work with your committee members and to do, as John Lewis said, good trouble. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. And oddly enough, or appropriately enough, a great deal of our words during the service are point to working together, being together, and it's just perfect, the idea. So there are lots and lots of events coming up, as you can see, and please read the weekly handout. If you haven't gotten one, get one. If you're watching at home, please check the UCOV, uucov.org, the website, or Breeze. We're now entering a sacred space. Please, if you haven't already, silence your electronics. Our service begins with a prelude.
Pincho by Colombian composer Adolfo Mejia.
so much, Lisa. And now we light the chalice. The reading today will be the servant candle. A candle alone is a small thing, but one candle can light another. And see how the light increases as it gives flame to another. We light this chalice and we ask that through the strength of our community, may we always bring light to the world.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to this liberal religious congregation, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Venice. My name is Reverend Amy Petrie Shaw. My pronouns are she or they or he or whatever you pick today. And it's a joy to see you all. I believe we have one guest we did not mention. Kathy?
Sometimes I can't see the forest through the trees, and I forgot we brought a guest today. Can you say your name and how old you are?
My name is Danielle, and I'm 6 years old.
Thank you for joining us today.
And thank you for introducing yourself. We are very pleased to meet you. Welcome everyone here who is in need of healing, anyone who is confused or has been betrayed. Welcome with your problems, welcome with your pain, welcome with your joy, welcome with your wanderings and your wonderings. Welcome your need to hope, your longing for assurance. Here you may find safety for your questions instead of promises. Here may you find community for your struggles, people with hands and hearts to join you in engaging in the challenges and the changes of our day. So come and let us worship here together. Please take just a second, say hello or introduce yourself to the people right around you. All right, we are going to get started with a rouser this morning. Number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. So please rise in body or spirit. Join in singing number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Our new banners, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for our banner bearers. These are going to GA to represent us. So Marcia, all right, thank you all. And Pat, can you tell us just a little bit about who designed those?
Yes.
Tom's sister, her name is Nancy Messier, Messier. You can look her up on Pinterest. She has all of her quilting there and a lot of other things. She was an art teacher in Rhode Island, and we roped her into making these for us to use at General Assembly, which is in Pittsburgh, coming up in June, and Marcia's going to carry it for us. We want to thank Dave Williams for a stand to put it in. Once we take the crook out of it, it will stand up, I'm sure. It's just, this is the way they wanted us to carry it, with the crook and the thing there, so you can see both sides. It's 2 separate quilts, which come apart with Velcro, so we can use them however we wish for decoration here or for whatever. So, right, thank you.
Thank you, Pat. So this is the time in our service when we do our children's chapel, when we explain to the smallest among us and any children following along at home exactly what the adults are going to be talking about later in the service. And so today what we're talking about is this idea that you can't always sit and just listen to the teacher. Eventually you have to go out and do something with the stuff you learn. So when your teacher tells you how to do times tables, and you learn all about 3 times 3, you don't just go, well, I know that thing now, and never mention it again. Eventually you use it to count things. If you learn how to spell new words, you don't just go, well, I know that now, the heck with it. Eventually you use that word in a sentence. So it's really important when we learn things that we go out into the world and do something with the things. As part of that, we have to realize you can't always win. You guys ever played Monopoly? How long does it take to play a game of Monopoly? About 1.5 million years, right? And that's only if you cheat and flip the board at the end. But you still play Monopoly, right? You get started, you play until your mom says, all right, enough of the daggone Monopoly, it's time for dinner. The important part is to get started and to do some of the thing. It's not always important to win today. The win might take you months or years. With Monopoly, it might take you centuries. But you gotta play. You gotta get started. You gotta do something. And especially when it comes to things like social justice, making the world a better place, you're not gonna fix it all today. You're not going to fix it in 100 years for some things. But you can fix a little bit of it today. At the very least, you can not be a jerk today. For some days, that's the best I can manage. You can do this much today and hope that tomorrow you'll be able to do this much, and the day after you'll be able to do another this much. And eventually all those this muches end up to winning the race, maybe not in our lifetime, but at least we got somewhere. So that's what we are talking about later today, and I ask you all to help me sing the children out to their classrooms with the Reeb Children's Benediction. This much. This is our offering time, and we do a plate pass every week, not to make a lot of money, but to help us remember that generosity and generosity of spirit are spiritual practices. So whether you give a dime or $1 million, the important part is that you remember to be generous in your life and your living this week. Our offering words are always offered with levity, because giving should happen with a smile, and let's face it, it's the only way to make you look forward to the offering. A UU hiker was strolling along the riverside when he happened to see a group of people in long white robes standing in the water. Curious, he wandered over. "Come on in," one of the men called to him, and he waded in. "I'm Pastor Smith," the man said. "Would you like to be baptized?" "Sure," said the UU, figuring it was interesting and he'd see what baptism was all about. He'd heard about them, he'd just never seen one. Before he could move, Pastor Smith grabbed his head and dunked him into the water. After a long minute, the UU fought his way to the surface, sputtering. "Have you found Jesus?" Pastor Smith said. "No," said the confused UU. "We dunked him again, and he held him under longer this time." And the UU came up sputtering and kicking. "Have you found Jesus?" the pastor roared. "No," said the UU in dismay. Before he could flee, the pastor dunked him a third time, this time holding him under for almost a minute. When he came up spitting and gagging, the pastor shouted, "Have you found Jesus?" "No," said the exasperated UU. "Are you sure this is where he got lost?" The morning offering will now be given and received. Thank you all so much for everything that you do for your church, for the life and the work of this community. As you know, the church isn't about the building. It's about the people, and it's as a community of human hands and human hearts that we come together here to share our laughter and our tears. And so we're entering into the time of sharing our joys and our sorrows. You can raise a hand, someone will bring you a microphone so you can share. Please share only with permission. As always, you are always welcome to come up before or during the service to light a candle at the candle table. During the service, I will light a candle for you. So if you have a joy or a concern, please raise a hand.
I'm Jean Sivers. My mother, Fran Banasek, lost her husband yesterday, her husband Richard. So please keep her in your thoughts.
I'm Eileen Leapley. This morning I received an email from legacy.com, and it informed me that 4 years ago today we lost our wonderful beloved friend Lori Baribeau, who many of you I know remember, and we'll always keep her in our hearts.
else?
I'm Donna Schaefer, and I wasn't going to do this, but I'm heading to Maine on next Sunday morning. So this is going to be my last Sunday here until I get back in September. And so it is both a sorrow and a celebration because I'm going to another place that I love, but I'm already looking forward to getting back here in September. So.
Hi, I'm Kendra Muntz, and I'm just so thrilled with the energy from people in this congregation that have blossomed up about these very important issues of social justice in so many ways. And what a blessing that we have this gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous banner, 2 of them, that were made by Tom Reeves' sister. Thank you so much, Tom, for bringing her to us, really. But I'll tell you, GA, this is going to be carried in GA, attending General Assembly, which I hope every one of you will have a chance to do sometime in your life. It's an experience not to be missed. It's really life-changing. I've been to a whole bunch of them, but I'm not going in person this year, but I'm going to be attending online, as will Pat Wellington. Pat, okay? And attending in person will be Marcia Smith and Steve Simon and Jan Simon, and
I'm online this year.
oh, and Amy's going to attend online. But we have tremendous representation, and it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So I hope you all consider going. It's always at the end of June, and it's usually 5 days in a city, different city in the country. East, west, north, south. This year it's east, and it's Pittsburgh, and I hear that's beautiful. So thank you to everybody.
A sorrow I have has to do with my memory. When I was up there talking, I was remiss in not having all of those who've been involved in the social justice work. Please stand up so that you can see who your neighbors are who are doing this work and connect with them. So could you please stand up? All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Just one last word. You've heard a bit about my sister, Nancy Messier. She's the one with the artistic gene in the family. I didn't get it. She was a teacher in Rhode Island, an art teacher for 35 years before she retired. But as long as I've known her, everything was art. Everything she sees is artistic. She thinks artistically. She shops artistically. She cooks artistically. Just everything with her is art. And I'm so proud to be her brother, her little brother. Oh, by the way, I was born on her 2nd birthday. And she was born on our mother's 30th birthday. So we get together every July 29th and celebrate our birthdays together. And so I'm going up to see her this summer.
Thank you, Tom. Before I hang up the mic, anyone else have something to share? Yes.
Hi, I'm Carl Schwartz. I probably don't do this very well, but I was just visited by my son from Cincinnati and his wife and his granddaughter, and I'm pretty much totally confused. It was such an active visit. A 2.5-year-old can be quite a change. And the other thing was he helped me with a bunch of things I procrastinate with, like getting a new phone and stuff. And it was incredibly difficult, but he handled it so well. I'm so proud and so lucky that I have a good son that's doing well and a wife that's wonderful. His wife is wonderful. And by the way, I'm from Pittsburgh originally, so Pittsburgh is a good place. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Tom. Yes, sorry.
This is a concern. I'm not sure if it's been announced, I haven't heard it, but Marcia Curry's husband, Dale German, who's been a member here for a very long time, passed away on Tuesday evening. So please hold him in your heart. You're shaking your head. no one's heard it yet, huh? Marcia's in our spiritual fellowship group, and Dale used to take care of all of our name tags. Thank you. But he was a wonderful, wonderful carpenter. He helped. Yeah, what did he have? A great pickup truck. I don't know. They were a wonderful couple, and Marcia's been here for the last couple of weeks, and it's been a long, difficult time for her.
She would welcome a card if you feel so inclined.
May the love of this community hold all who need love and concern. May the light of our community shine on the broken places of the world. May the work of our hands and our hearts support, aid, and comfort all those who hunger or thirst for food or water, justice or freedom. May we never look away when we're needed. May those who are grieving be comforted, those who are tired find rest. May the broken places be healed, and may those who are filled with joy and laughter be abundant.
On Thursday, December 1st, 1955, 42-year-old Rosa Parks was coming home, commuting from a long day of work at the Montgomery Fair department store by bus. Black residents of Montgomery often avoided municipal buses, if at all possible, because they found the Negroes in back policy so demeaning. Nonetheless, 70% or more riders on a typical day were black. And to ask a black person, the custom was that the bus drivers had the authority to ask them to give up their seat for a white citizen. Nonetheless, at one point on the route, a white man had no seat because all the seats were designated white. And the white section was taken. So the driver told the riders in the 4 seats of the first row of the colored section to stand, in effect adding another row to the white section. The others 3 obeyed. Parks did not. People always say that I didn't give up my seat because I was tired, wrote Parks in her autobiography. But that isn't true. I was not tired physically. No, the only tired I was tired of giving in. Eventually, 2 police officers approached the stop bus, assessed the situation, and placed Parks in custody. Rosa Parks helped to initiate the civil rights movement in the United States when she refused to give up her seat to a white man on a Montgomery, Alabama bus in 1955. Her actions inspired the leaders of the local black community to organize the Montgomery bus boycott. Led by a young Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the boycott lasted more than a year and ended only when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that bus segregation was unconstitutional. Please, let's join in a moment of silence, meditation, thought, or prayer. Our reading today is Choose to Bless the World by Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover, can be used to bless or curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hands, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind up wounds, welcome the stranger. Praise what is sacred. Do the work of justice. Or offer love. Any of these, any of the following, can draw down the prison wall, hoard bread, abandon the poor, obscure what is holy, comply with injustice, or withhold love. You must answer this question. What will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. The choice to bless the world can take you into solitude to search for the sources of power and grace, native wisdom, healing, liberation. More, the choice will bring you into community, the endeavor shared, the heritage passed on, the companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith, the life of ritual and praise, the comfort of human relationship, and the friendships therein, the company of earth, the chorus of life welcoming you. None of us alone can save the world. Together, well, there's another possibility waiting. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 1024. If you have a teal hymnal, I think you might need it. But Lisa will play it through once, all in silence. We'll be quiet, and then we can absorb it, and then we'll sing out. Okay.
So we talked a few weeks ago about UU evangelism, getting out into the world, telling the world we're here. And today is the Christian holiday of Pentecost, which for a lot of Unitarian Universalists brings up a rousing response of, yeah, right, what? Because Pentecost is not a holiday that we talk about a lot. But Pentecost is the story about going out into the world. The last meal Jesus had with his disciples, Jesus of Nazareth, the Christian Jesus, he told them to go into the world and to minister to the people and to heal the sick on their own, rather than just be disciples or people sitting and listening to a teacher. Up till that point, the big expectation was that they would sit and listen and he would talk and they would learn. And if there were any miracles or wonders or lessons, they would come from their rabbi, their teacher, Jesus. But he said to them, it's time, you gotta go. Get out of the nest and fly, guys. 50 days after that rabbi's death, after Jesus' death, we have Pentecost. It's the day that the Holy Spirit, in Christianity, that's the agency of God. That's the part of God for Christians that talks to humans, that has the ability. It came to them in the form of tongues of fire over their heads, and it made them speak in languages that they previously didn't know, and it sent them out into the world to spread the teachings as apostles, people who spread the word. Now, they took apostleship seriously in those days. These days, we don't hear about burning fire showing up over people's heads to send them out to do much. But this idea of being sent out to spread some kind of gospel, it's still going on. And these are not all religious teachings. But 3 years ago, there was a young man named Cameron Welsh, young black man, and he got on an app that the kids like called TikTok. A lot of you may have heard of it. And he wanted to share the rules his mom made him follow as a young black man in America. This is the lesson she sent him out with. This is the language that she gave him to speak. He became an apostle of the idea of staying alive. And he went out to teach other young black men and women this gospel. You can still find Cameron Welsh. You can find video. It's on YouTube if you Google. This is what this poor young man had to say. Don't put your hands in your pockets in public. Don't put your hoodie on. Don't go out with a hoodie on. Don't be outside without a shirt on. Check in with your people, even if you're down the street. Now think about this for those of you all that have children, or nieces, or nephews, or grandchildren. Having to tell this to your child. Don't be out too late. Don't touch anything if you're not buying it directly. Never leave the store without a receipt or a bag, even if it's just a pack of gum. Never make it look like there's an altercation between you and someone else. Never leave the house without your ID. Don't drive with a wife beater on, with a tank top shirt. Don't drive with a do-rag on, the hair cover. Don't go out in public, in fact, with a wife beater or a do-rag on. Don't ride with your music loud. Don't stare at white women. If a cop stops you randomly and questions you, be polite. Don't talk back. Compromise on everything. If you're pulled over, put your hands on the dashboard. Ask for permission to get your license. This is a language most of us didn't have to teach to our children. No tongue of fire came down and taught us this language to go out. I saw the video, and at the bottom there's a description that said, click, like, and share if you want world peace. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Hashtag George Floyd. Hashtag Cameron Welsh. Now, I speak that language. And I started thinking about all the deep and meaningful hashtags and clicks that I had done when I'm playing around online. And if you read my article that I did for The Gondolier, it's a very short form of this sermon, actually. Because I started thinking about how many times, oh, click like to save this, click like to save that, share this. Just sit on my butt and dial it in, right? It's easy. Go into the world. What are you talking about? I don't want to go. I'm not an apostle. I'm a disciple. I just want to sit here and learn stuff. Clicking and liking and sharing, talking with your friends over lunch, those are good ways to get information moving around. They're things we should do. But if we want to take being a UU evangelist, being a UU proselytizer, being someone who lives our values in the world, we got to do a little more. And that's where the problems come in. Because the world is challenging right now. The world's a mess. For those of us who have conservative friends and relatives, and we are liberal, we love them. We want to talk with them. We want to share with them. For those of us who are conservative and have liberal friends and relatives, we love them. We want to talk with them. But there's divisive issues everywhere. Gun control. Children getting shot. People acting a fool on an airplane because they are so angry that it's ready to just boil over. Punching each other in the head because their seatmate reclined. Starting a fight because a baby was crying. We get told we have to change the world. We get told we have to save the world. We are not Superman. I am quite sure no one woke you up this morning and said, here is your cape. I know I didn't get issued mine. So when they say to us, we have to stop racism, we have to stop gun violence, we have to stop people hating each other, my God, that mountain is 1,000,000 miles high. I can't climb that mountain. It'd be easy to say, I work hard for what I've got. Leave me alone. I can't make a mountain go away. I got a little bitty spoon. It's easy to say, handle it yourself, because it looks scary and big, and all I got is this spoon. I want to be an audience. I don't even want to be a disciple. Being a disciple is good. It's better anyway. And I know I come from a background where there was always somebody going, I am so impressed by that little, Mother Teresa out there doing stuff. I'm so impressed by that Sally Struther. She's out there with those give $1 and you save the little kids thing. She's sitting on a pile of garbage asking for money. Hell, I gave her $10. I felt so bad. Heard that all the time. And you could say to these same people, so what did you do other than the $10? Well, I gave $10. What'd you want? They were excited to learn about it. They were excited to be a disciple. But that's as far as it went. There's that sense of, look, it's going to take a Messiah to clean this mess up. It's going to take somebody brilliant. I'm not brilliant, so leave me alone. When the Messiah comes, I'll follow them around. They'll tell me what to do, right? Till then, I'm off the hook. And And then there's despair. I could just cry about it all. It's horrible. I could just sit and weep. Nothing I do will ever help, so I'll just cry. They don't get anything done. But that ethic of risk that I was talking about in that article, that idea that you don't know what any small thing you do, you don't know where it will lead. You can pack your camper, put everything in there, head toward the mountain with the idea that you're going to climb to the top and summit. You might make it. Or you might end up in Cleveland having a beer and some ribs. You never know where you're going to turn up organically, how things will change. An ethic of risk says there's too many variables. You can't calculate real life. So you just have to take one step, then another step, then another step, all in a good direction. Because it's all too big to say, well, I will start at A and I will end up at Z, and there's a million steps in between. It doesn't work. An ethic of risk says, I'm going to start at A and I'm going to take a positive step towards Z. And then another, and then another, and then another. And if we're talking about social justice work, we keep doing things to try to make other things happen. And then we get depressed when we don't make it. We protest about gun control. Next week there's still going to be guns. That doesn't mean we failed. That means that a lot of people driving by us will see us saying, I don't want this. And maybe they go home and say, you know, the next time that could be me. I could stand out there because I don't want this either. There's 10 of them. They don't want this. I didn't know there were 10 people in Venice that didn't want that. I'm going to be number 11. One step, then the next step, then the next step, tiny gains. You become an apostle. We won't end racism, but we can stop book banning in Venice, Florida. Or we can just give out banned books, one bite, one step. Tomorrow, maybe all of Florida, one bite, one step. Don't wait for the tongues of fire to heat you up. That rise is just your blood pressure. Take that as a sign. When you get a little hot, when you look at the world, that's a tongue of fire. Take it. It's impossible to make gains with guilt or pressure by waiting for the Messiah. I'll save the world by doing everything right. No, you won't. You're going to screw up. That's okay. Take a chance. It's too big for me. You need special people and great teachers. No, it isn't. It starts right here. It starts right now. It starts with you. I'm waiting for the great leader. They called. They're not coming. It's on you. It makes me want to cry. I'm not able to handle this. Yes, yes, you are. Ugly cry. Then wipe your nose and get out here. One little step at a time. I'm afraid. We all are. We all are. Start where you're needed. Throw gas on your own Pentecostal flames. Embrace that ethic of risk, that one bite at a time, so that Cameron Welsh and other young people like him don't need those kinds of rules. Do what's right in front of you. Go into the world and spread the word that a change is going to come, and then be the change, one little bite at a time. I have faith in you. Impact your house, your block, your HOA. The problems took generations. You're not going to fix them by Wednesday. Fix a piece that leads to another piece. Topple the first domino. Human hands, human lives, one risk at a time. Because you know what? God called. He isn't showing up down here today. It's on us. And we can do it. Amen. we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Those we carry in our hearts until we're together again. We're going to sing our closing hymn this week, number 298, Wake Now My Senses, verses 1 through 3. Please rise in body or spirit. 298. As we prepare to depart, we give voice to these hopes. May we know ourselves bound in community even while we were apart. May a passion for justice burn in our lives. May we carry the light of compassion in our hearts and in our every interaction. May we be whole in our devotion to truth and always carry the lamp of peace before us. The service has ended and now your service begins anew. Peace, Ashe, may it be so, and amen.